He can cook a shoe and it'll taste delicious. You don't even have to bring your own, he says. And that's neat. It's Tom White. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Hey, buddy, thank you so much for downloading this episode of Teaching to the Test Pattern. I'm Tom White, your host, and this is part 2 of my conversation with a good friend of mine, Nick Duncan. And in this episode, he talks about what has changed for him as related to the COVID-19 situation, how it's, obviously it's directly impacted all of us, but for Nick, the things that have happened, he went from working in a studio to working at home, managing a 2-year-old and all of those things. Also, Nick talks about, if you want to make a little money on some stuff you shoot, how to do it. And talks about how they source content for the weatherchannel.com app and a whole lot more. All right. So last episode, I told you don't email Amatrace. Well, today, email them. AMITRACE.com. Go there, get the email, shoot them a message and go, hey, listen, I want to figure out how to make my productions better. That should be the title of the email. I want to make my productions better. And then just say, hey, can you come talk to me? Let's get on the phone. Let's get on a Zoom meeting. I want to tell you what I dream, what my hopes are, and what my, what I need to do. And they're going to come back to you with a custom idea. They're not going to give you, they're going to give you what you ask for. But they may add on some stuff. They may go, hey, you may not know this, but you really need this to make that work better. That is why you should reach out to them, because they know what they're doing. They're not selling TV equipment today and welding equipment tomorrow. It's TV equipment today. It's TV equipment tomorrow. AMITRACE.com. Go there, get the message, get the email address, shoot them a message, start that conversation now so that by the time you get back to school in the fall, you already have everything in place and you're ready to rock and roll. Speaking of rock and roll as you listen to part 2 of my conversation with Nick Duncan from the Weather Channel.
Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Fast forward to now at the Weather Channel. What is the biggest part of your current job that you have?
The biggest part is that I am responsible for the final video that goes out to our consumers, to our viewers. So as the digital studio producer, I wear many hats. It's almost as, I don't know how many TV stations are still doing MMJs or, one-man bands. But it's almost as for being it's almost a one-man band digital producer. Because I sit in front of the Tricaster, we call it, which is, you're familiar with new tech, and the switcher, and I'm actually the technical director. So we act as if our videos are live, but we're recording them. And I'm the one punching the buttons. I'm the one making it look the way it does. And I'm relying on 3 other people to get me everything I need so I can put the final product out. If we have a writer for a script, or if we have a graphics producer who makes the maps for the forecast, and then our on-camera meteorologist, they give me all those elements. Everybody does their part, and I make it look pretty, basically.
And how many videos are you making a day?
It depends on if we're just talking a normal day of the week and there's not a lot of weather going on, we'll do in an 8-hour shift, we'll do 6 to 10, 30 to 60 second video clips. That depends on that's about our news hole for the day. And then we have a second shift that comes in. We do also that amount. We have 8 to 10 spots on our homepage, and about the same on the Weather Channel app where we can plug and play with those videos. And the PM team will, if it's a regular forecast, they'll update what we did. But if we're talking a severe weather day, I think, was it last Easter Sunday? Mm-hmm. They did 36 videos in a shift. And that's just constantly updating because the severe weather is moving across the Southeast. That's updating impact videos as we get damage videos in and stuff like that. And then breakouts, because we did like a forecast for Georgia and Alabama and Louisiana. So it depends on the day, but an easier day, 6 to 10.
Wow.
And 30 in a hurricane and severe season.
Are you guys, and I guess you kind of answered, but I just want to clarify, and you guys have a region of the country. So do you have the Southeast that you cover, or are you nationwide?
No, we're nationwide and international. We do international stories too. I mean,
okay, gotcha.
It just depends. I mean, mainly the U.S., but we'll do stories if there's flooding in Germany, or an earthquake, or in Puerto Rico, or really earthquakes anywhere, flooding anywhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
We did a blizzard in China one day this week. There was a blizzard in China. I did a 40-second video about that.
You'd never think about blizzards in China.
Yeah, right. So there's multiple companies that we work with that we pull assets from. That we gather our own assets through Twitter and Facebook and et cetera. But there's Storyful and Newsflare, and there's companies that's all they do is gather those stories, and then we kind of pilfer through them and see what fits our brand.
Gotcha.
So that's how we end up finding a lot of stories like that.
So as you're creating the different content pieces for the .com or the app, and you and I have talked about this a couple of times, vertical or horizontal video?
Yeah, it's actually something we went back and forth and debated on ourselves. I think we're going to end up going to more vertical video, but the honesty is there's not a lot of ad dollars around it yet. Right now. We actually tested those waters last year on the Weather Channel app. We did a whole vertical forecast series for 8 to 10 months. And we were localizing it. Like we would say, hey, Atlanta, here's your forecast today. But the reality is that with a 40, 50 person team, we couldn't do the amount of content we need to do. There's not advertising around it yet. I think there's definitely a platform there for vertical video and for vertical forecast.
Gotcha.
I just don't know when it's gonna. That's the problem. The problem, you can get it monetized, So we went back to horizontal on Weather Channel app and weather.com for now.
Gotcha. So before all of the lockdown stuff happened, what was a normal day for Nick Duncan?
Normal day was wake up at 3:15, 3:20 a.m., drive to Brookhaven, or the perimeter, basically. They call it Brookhaven, but it's really the perimeter, Sandy Springs. Go in at 4 a.m., and when I get in at 4 a.m., I'm doing everything. I'm turning on the studio lights. I'm prepping the cameras. I'm setting up. I go ahead and set up my shots. We don't have any set shots particular. We have 2 or 3 that we all use, and then it's really up to you it's your field to play with for the day, whatever you're feeling that morning. So whatever I'm feeling, I'll just start setting up a shot. I log in, and then I start looking at what of our lister stories are going to be for the day, and I start gathering video assets for that. So if there was a tornado last night in Louisiana, I will try to find as many video clips that I can, and I'll reach out and try to clear them. Or we have companies we work with. Like I said, I'll buy a clip and get all my assets in for every story. And about 5 a.m., our meteorologist, our on-camera meteorologist will come in, and she'll go over the stories with our graphics meteorologist. Our graphics meteorologist will have been in since 2:30 a.m. Wow. So she comes in, she has a meeting with some other forecasters, the WSI team, the global forecasters. They're there 24/7. So she gets a briefing from them, what's going on. She makes all the maps. And by 5:15 to 5:30, we're ready to start shooting our first round of videos. And we try to get them shot and published between 6 and 7, because that is 7 to 9 on the East Coast is our window for our most active users on the Weather Channel app. And then after 9 a.m., we'll have a 9:30 content meeting to see where we are for the day. And then between 9:30 and noon, I'm really updating what we shot, because forecast changed, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we're adding if there's breaking news, we're adding that. And then we're just filling that news hole. Like I said, those 8 to 10 videos, we're trying to fill those gaps and have a new video story for every hole on the homepage and for weather.com, or weather.com in the app, I mean.
So when you're researching stories or determining stories that go in those holes, who or where are you looking? I mean, are you just, and kind of where does the buck stop? I mean, obviously with the video side, it stops with you, but determining what those stories are, when they go up, where they go up, how do you guys handle that?
We have a pitch list. And so it's everyone's responsibility every morning to pitch as many stories as you can. And so I have a list of like 10 websites that I go through every morning. Some of those are just like even just yahoo.com and USA Today. Like I said, Newsflare, Storyful, Viral Hog, Duncan. These are all like viral houses who go purchase content from people, and then we can pull it from them because we have a partnership with them. And so I run through those 10 websites because I don't have, that's my problem is I have to get ready to shoot everything. So I don't have as big a time. Sometimes I'm up at night too, before I go to bed, I'll look for pitches. If I'm scrolling through Facebook or Twitter and I see something like, oh, that fits our brand, I'll email it to myself. That way I remember it the next morning. I can pitch it. And we have it. It's just mainly just going through the list and trying to find what videos fit our brand, what's going to click well on a website, things that we know who've done well in the past. It could even be something as simple as like a silly thing. Like we know iguana stories click well with Florida viewers. So we'll throw animal stories and stuff in there like that too, you know?
So who is your target audience? I know that it probably varies regionally, but if you could put your finger on one person, what would that person be? I mean, it's really I'd have to give their analytics people to remember this, the ages and genre, but it's actually, we have found it varies from Android to iPhone as well. Our iPhone audience is more viral videos, happy animal videos. They want their weather. For Android people like space and environmental stories, and they like tech things like that. So you have to,
which is interesting. So it's very interesting. So I didn't realize, based on, I guess an Android type of phone user would make sense. I guess, I don't know, to want to be more into those things.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone down those lines. That's interesting.
Yeah. But our managing editor, when he gets in at 6, he'll look at that whole pitch list. He'll make the final call. We'll know what forecast we have to update based on what's going on in the U.S., what's going on around the world. Well, there's severe weather for the day, there's a hurricane in the Atlantic or whatever. We'll cover those right out of the gate. And then he'll add other stories to the news hole that he thinks are appropriate.
Gotcha. So obviously, shutdown, lockdown, COVID, whatever you want to call it. What is your day like now?
Yeah, I went from being a studio producer and making videos by using the switcher and recording them like they're live. I went from that to being a full-time editor every day again. Because when I first got to weather.com, I was just a video editor, churning out pieces like text videos and those viral videos and stuff like that. Especially back when text videos got really hot on Facebook. That's when I had first started at weather.com.
Gotcha.
But now it's been interesting because I had to set up home studios for all our meteorologists. They have to, they'll record their forecast and send it to me. And then our graphics producer, she'll record our forecast and put it in our archive system. And then it's up to me to pull all those assets in. And I have to basically, I've been trying to make it look as much as like we're in a studio as possible. But instead of having all these elements pre-built for me, I have to go into Adobe Premiere, and I've made templates in Premiere, but it changes depending on the day. But I have to basically build it all by hand every single video. So it takes a little bit longer than just churning and burning videos out.
Yeah, and I imagine that the desire for content is still there, but the time it takes has tripled or quadrupled for you.
It has, yeah. That's a thing. We had a meeting this week. I was like, one example is, we'll shoot our severe forecast early, like 4:30 or 5, because now our commuter's just walking upstairs. So now we're really ready to go. But then the Storm Prediction Center will update that at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And I was like, if we can, we really need to hold on and just do the second version and just do it one time, because what takes you 5 minutes to make a map takes me 30 to get a new video out the door, you know?
Okay, gotcha.
And you want to get the freshest content out to the viewers and the consumers as you can. I'd rather wait 30 minutes and get a more updated forecast than put one out and then replace it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we start to kind of close this out, what are 3 things that people don't know about what you do?
I have to check my notes here. I tried to write that. That down. What I have to do is if I'm looking for storm video or other video that I like, we literally have to get on Twitter and tweet them and say, hey, Tom, I would love to use your video for weather.com. Will you give me permission with a courtesy to you? And sometimes Tom will say yes. And sometimes Tom will say, no, I need $200 for that. And I'll say, okay, I pass. Or I'll try to, or if it's good enough video, we will buy your video. That's some things people don't know. I will throw this little tidbit out there. I mean, depending on who you are, if you're a journalist and you want to, you know, how ethical you are and you want to get news out, and you say you take a great storm video, you post on your Facebook page, and local media outlets start asking you, hey, Tom, we love your video. Can we use it? You don't technically have to say yes. You could, you know, actually don't say yes at all, obviously, because it's your content. But you could also say, sure, $50. And sometimes they will give you money.
Yeah.
That's things I didn't know. So that means, and even the big ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all those, they're buying weather content, news content all the time from Joe Schmo on the street, not just professional journalists, not just professional videographers. Let's see what else is on my list. And I guess, I mean, the other thing is just the details. Everyone probably doesn't know all the details that go into, like I said, I'm a one-man band. I set up all the cameras for the shots. I run the switcher and I record it. Then I have to go into another system. I clip it off, and then I send it over to our CMS and actually make sure it gets published and gets all the way to the website. So I take the video from start to finish, which a lot of people may not know that. Now, as it gets later in the day, we try to divide those jobs up. But because I'm in so early, I'm kind of more of a one-man band. We'll have a publisher who will help you get that content to the web and stuff like that later in the day. But, yeah, that's probably a few things people don't know.
Gotcha. And if you were to stand in front of my class today and someone said, what's the advice you would give me? I'm thinking about going into the film production, video production world, broadcast, what have you. What would you tell them?
Don't be afraid to take a chance. Like I told you at the beginning, when I applied to work at that first TV station, I didn't know a lot of what I was doing. I just told him I needed a foot in the door, and I just wanted an opportunity, and he gave it to me. And I learned a lot. And also, don't burn bridges because that leads to other opportunities. I'm right now doing 2 other freelance editing gigs based off of people I met at NASCAR who are doing their own things now. And they think I'm a good person. They think I'm a good editor. They called me, and now I'm editing videos for them on the side as well, you know?
Very cool.
So don't pass up any opportunities and make friends.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back hanging out with the family and send them my love, and I appreciate it again.
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Teaching to the test pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Teaching to the Test Pattern. Again, thanks to Nick for his time. Thanks to his wife for letting him get away. As we talked about before, that they're in the process of potty training their 2-year-old. And what a great time to do that, because both parents can be home to help with that. But at the same time, not something simple to do. And Nick took an hour or so to chat with me. And really, you know, the advice he gave, I think, is priceless, that sometimes you're going to have to take some risks and give up some stuff in order to get to the point you want to get to. And I hope that your students understand that as they are starting their career journey. I don't think Nick ever thought he would be at the Weather Channel. I know he didn't think he would ever travel the country with NASCAR. And that's one of those things that you just make those sacrifices. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, tell somebody else about it. Tell a teacher that needs to hear about it. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will have an interview with a great friend of mine, Emery Halevi from Harvard University. And we're talking about what they're doing during this time and how they're still continuing to take their program to the next, or he's continuing to take their program to the next level. You're going to be shocked at how many events they do and the staff they have at such a prestigious university. And it's just a great conversation. I was so happy that he agreed to do it. So that's it for today. Come back tomorrow, download the next episode of Teaching to the Test Pattern. Thank you again so much for downloading. Have a great day and go make some awesome.
Teaching to the Test Pattern.